Who am I? Who am I really? After having lived 61 years, I ask myself that question often. After 61 years of life, 3 kids, 2 husbands, multiple jobs to help support the family, and years of dedicating myself to everybody else, somewhere along the way, I lost myself. I became so immersed in being a mom and a wife that I stopped asking myself who I was outside of those roles. What do I want? What are my goals? What interests me? What made me feel alive outside of being needed by everybody else? And honestly, it wasn't until my last divorce that I really started trying to figure that out. Because when your life revolves around children, responsibilities, bills, and schedules, cooking, cleaning, school, work, crying babies, pets, yard work, and trying to hold everything together every single day, life just became survival. You're not sitting around trying to find yourself. You're trying to get through the day. And there were times I worked full time on top of raising kids, mostly by myself, without a lot of support or involvement from my partners when it came to the day to day responsibilities of parenting. That kind of exhaustion changed me. I became bitter, resentful, angry, sleep deprived. I was drained emotionally, physically, and mentally. Never mind talking about sex. What sex? There just wasn't a lot left at the end of the day for myself, or even the relationship. Looking back now, I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is that a marriage still needs attention even while raising kids. And I made the mistake of focusing almost entirely on the kids. But at the same time, I also felt overwhelmed and unsupported, and that created lots of resentment on both sides. He felt neglected in the relationship, and I felt abandoned carrying most of the responsibilities at home. Over time, this kind of exhaustion, the distance from my partner, lack of affection, and resentment slowly chipped away at the relationship until one day you realize you've become completely disconnected from each other. And I wish I had understood sooner that taking care of myself wasn't selfish. It was incredibly important to my mental and physical well being. Somewhere along the way, I stopped existing as a person outside of what everybody needed from me. When the relationship ended, I actually had the time to look at myself. I looked in the mirror and I did not recognize myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. My entire identity was around kids, being a mother, being a wife, trying to hold myself together, trying to hold the family together, and I broke. I also think this is something a lot of women go through without talking about it honestly, especially mothers. We spent so many years taking care of everybody else that we forget that we are people too. Not just caregivers, not just wives, not just mothers. People. People with dreams, interests, creativity, needs, and identities outside of what we deem sacrificing ourselves for our kids and our families. And maybe that's one of the hardest parts about getting older, realizing how much of your life was spent surviving instead of truly living for yourself. And at the same time, I don't believe life is over. We finally woke up later than we wanted to. We can't go back. We can only go forward. And maybe part of getting older is finally learning who you are after years of being who everybody else needed you to be. What do you want? What are your goals? What do you plan on doing in the future? Where? How? Why? And what? Those are all questions I ask myself. As long as there is time, we can become the person that we always wanted to be. My name is Dee. I'm 61 years young, and thanks for walking with me.